Hello, welcome to Lil's Vintage World. Today I've got my June wrap-up for you. So, can you believe we're in July already? How mad is that? Let's just address the elephant in the room. I got my hair cut, didn't I? I've been having quite a lot of problems with like self-image and self-worth recently. But my boyfriend gave me the kick up the bum that I needed to go and, get my hair sorted out and to make myself feel a bit better. And I do, and yeah, it's quite a bit shorter. Do you know what? I was a bit at first, but because I haven't been this short in a really long time, but I really like it actually. I really like it. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. But yeah, anyway, today I've got my June wrap up for you. I read a grand total of 18 books in the month of June, which I know sounds a lot, but it is a mixture of fiction, non-fiction, children's graphic novels, things that are shorter, as well as like the normal / longer length book. So let's get straight into it. I am only going to mention the books that haven't featured in other like standalone reviews sort of things, or like history book reviews, stuff like that. So these are just the other books that I've read essentially that haven't had a review of sorts yet. So here they are, and I'll do my best to leave links for them in the description box below. So starting off, I picked up The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. This book is very popular at the moment, it's very hyped up, but I'm going to say it is well deserved. This is about two people called Tiffy and Leon who share a flat. They share a bedroom, they share a bed. One has one side, one has the other, but they're never in the flat at the same time. So Tiffy has the flat at evenings and weekends when Leon is at work or at his girlfriend's, and Leon has the flat Monday to Friday, 8 till 6 when Tiffy is at work. And they communicate through post-its, and this is a book about relationships and friendships and something serious as well as an undercurrent, but I won't go into that storyline. It's very hyped up at the moment, this book, but I do think it is very well deserved. I really enjoyed it. I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I particularly like the different writing style for a chapter for Tiffy, a chapter for Leon. They're different writing styles to give the characters different personalities, and I really enjoyed that one. So it is hyped up at the moment, but I do think it does deserve the hype because I think it was a really, really good book. Then I picked up another women's fiction actually. This is Playgroups and Persicos, The Misadventures of a Single Mum by Jo Middleton. This book is set in a diary format and is about a single mum who is trying to do the balance of life. So she's trying to balance being a mum. She's got 2 girls, she's got a toddler and a teenager. She's trying to balance her relationship with her ex-husband and her baby daddy. She's trying to balance work and friendships and trying to get back in the dating game. There's a lot of moaning in this book, but I kind of feel like I identify with her because I moan a lot. It's a fun read, it's very, very funny, and I like the talk about all the Jaffa cakes, and she's trying to control her urge to eat Jaffa cakes and drink wine. Yeah, it was very funny, and 4 out of 5 stars, and I would highly recommend that as a women's fiction. I think it's wonderful. I picked up this quite big book. This is Historical Heroes. It's by various different authors for different chapters for different people, but there is essentially one chapter on each of these 6 people that you see. So a chapter on like Charles Darwin, Tutankhamun, etc, etc. I liked this. I particularly liked the illustrations of it. It had a kind of horrible history kind of feel to it. There's like little facts and funny bits. This is probably my favourite illustration, and it's of course one on like Henry VIII, of course, but I liked it, and I would say pick this up for any smaller person in your life that is wanting to get into history, because I think they will rather enjoy that. I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up a comic book. I picked up Harley Quinn Volume 2 Power Outage. I read Volume 1 ages ago, over a year ago I think, and I really enjoyed that. I think I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. This one, it wasn't that good. It was okay. I gave it 2 stars. It was literally okay. So I won't be carrying on with this series. I think if I want to read more Harley Quinn, I will go to the Rebirth series that I haven't started with her yet. So yeah, but it was okay. Then I picked up Agatha Christie, Murder in the Making, Stories and Secrets from Her Archive by John Cran. I read one of his last month, which is kind of like the sister book to this one. and I liked it. I also liked this one. It's very much the same thing. So going through her notebooks, and John kind of makes sense of them because they're quite higgledy-piggledy. He makes sense of them, puts categories together of books that have a similar plot line. And yeah, it's a good read. I definitely want to read it how I said about doing it last month, which is when I reread an Agatha Christie, I will then come to this or the other one and flick through it and see what Agatha Christie wrote about it in the notebooks. I think that's the best way to do it, but I just wanted to read it once so that I know that I have read it. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and that got me into the murder mystery yearning. So I picked up a Patricia Wentworth. This is Lady's Bane. This is about a young woman called Ione, who has a sister called Allegra, who is newly married, and Ione goes to visit her sister, and she finds that she's not herself and she's on drugs. And Allegra's godmother goes to Miss Silver and says, I'm really worried about my goddaughter. She's not socialising with her friends or family, and her husband seems obsessed with buying the house in which they currently rent, and she's worried that he's going to use Allegra's money to do that. So Miss Silver goes in and investigates, and there's a murder, and it's really good. I really enjoyed this one. Last month's Patricia Wentworth I gave 2 stars. This I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's got kind of like a feminine feel to this one, I thought. I really liked that one. Definitely worth picking up if you like Patricia Wentworth or murder mysteries. Then I got Wave Me Goodbye by Jacqueline Wilson. This is my 3rd Jacqueline Wilson of the year. I read My Mum Tracy Beaker at the start of the year for nostalgic reasons, because I read Tracy Beaker as a kid. I then read Opal Plumstead because it's historical fiction on the suffragettes, and you know how I feel about the suffragettes. Then I saw this in a charity shop for £1.50, I think, and I picked it up. And this is about a young girl who gets evacuated off to the country on the outbreak of the Second World War. This was okay. It wasn't as good as the others. Both of the other Jacqueline Wilson ones that I've read so far this year, I gave 4 out of 5 stars, I think. This one I gave 2. It was okay. I think I'll probably stop the Jacqueline Wilson reading for now. But it's kind of nice to get into different sort of historical fiction. But yeah, it was okay. Definitely one for younger readers. Then I carried on with the children's theme. I read Winnie in Winter by Valerie Thomas and Corky Paul. So I picked this book up at a charity shop a little while ago, and it is lovely. I reread Winnie in Winter, Winnie the Witch last month, although I forgot to put it in my wrap-up, whoopsie daisy. I loved rereading it. It was lovely. It made me remember when I was about 5 years old, and it was wonderful. And what I like particularly about these books are the wonderful illustrations with the shading. I think it's just beautiful. So I just really enjoyed reading this. This one is set in the winter time, which is ironic because it's so hot here in England at the moment. But yeah, it's set in the winter, and Winnie's kind of getting sick of it, so she makes this cast a spell, and summer descends over her house, so she gets all the neighbourhood coming over and annoying her, and it gets on her nerves, and she does something to make them go away. Wonderful. It's such a good book, and I would highly recommend it just to look at the illustrations to realise it's a wonderful, wonderful children's book. Then I fancied something a bit more adult, so I picked up Anne Boleyn, A King's Obsession by Alison Weir. This is the second book in the 6 Tudor Queens series. I read the first one on Catherine of Aragon last month, and I liked it but didn't love it. This one I really enjoyed. It's from the viewpoint of Anne Boleyn right up to the very, very, very end, and I really enjoyed this one. I often think historical fiction is a lot harder to get right than it is to get wrong. I think it's quite easy to get historical fiction wrong, and I think Alison Weir's done it right here. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I'd definitely recommend picking up this book because I thought it was really, really a good adaptation on the history of Anne Boleyn. Then I did a bit of rereading. So I reread volume 1, 2 and 3 of Giant Days. This is my favourite comic book series about 3 girls and their time at university and their friends slash possible relationships, but don't want to leak it out for you, of Ed Gilmore and McGraw, and oh, I love this series so much. So the new volume, volume 10, comes out at the end of July, and I always get to within about a month's grasp of the new volume coming out, and I start to get a bit itchy feet, and I'm wanting it so badly. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to reread the whole series again, starting from the beginning. So yeah, I've read 3 so far, and I will definitely finish the rest of them in time for the new volume. But those are amazing, 5-star amazingness. I did a whole video on Giant Days, which I'll link for you up here somewhere. Yeah, anyway, that got me into the graphic novel mood. So I picked up DC Superhero Girls Final Crisis. I picked this up, to be honest, because I was intrigued more than anything. So this is a graphic novel / comic book thing aimed at younger readers, I presume, to get them into the sphere of comic books so that when they get older they naturally progress into mainstream comics. That's what I'm thinking. I actually ended up really enjoying this. I didn't think I would, but I actually really did. I was really intrigued to see how they would handle characters like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, who aren't really, in my eyes, superheroes. They are, you know, the anti-heroes, I guess, or yeah. But I actually really enjoyed it. I liked the art style. I liked the simplicity of the storyline. That's the great thing about children's books. They don't overplay it. Rather than mainstream comics, sometimes they just like shove this storyline and this storyline and this storyline. It gets a bit confusing. I actually really enjoyed this. 4 out of 5 stars, and would recommend to just generally comic book lovers everywhere, as well as young readers. It's fab. Next was Paddington the Artist, of course by Michael Bond, but illustrated by R.W. Alley. This is starting with Paddington and Mr. Gruber, who go for a little walk and come across this open-air art exhibition thing, and it inspires Paddington to become an artist and make his own little exhibition, and it was lovely. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was just wonderful. Yeah, any Paddington, it's just a delight, isn't it? And then finally, I read a lot of children's books in the month of June, didn't realise that. I read Matilda by Roald Dahl. This was wonderful. So as a child, I reread an awful lot, and my favourite Roald Dahl was The Twits. And I reread that so much that I ended up with 2 copies. I don't know why I had 2 copies, but I never read Matilda. I did watch the film, and I loved Mr. Trunchbull, played by Pam Ferris, and I think that was marvellous. And then I wanted to get the book recently. I thought, I want to read some children's books that I didn't read as a child. Matilda was one of them. So I loved it. I thought this was absolutely amazing. It's so good. I do prefer the book to the film, although I do have to say, when I was reading this, I imagined Pam Ferris as Miss Trunchbull. Miss Trunchbull was still my favourite character in the book, and Pam Ferris came to mind. She was the only one. It's quite rare for me to read a book and imagine, you know, if there's a film or adaptation, the actor playing them is that said person in the book. That doesn't usually happen for me at all, but occasionally it does, and it's lovely when it does. And it's just amazing. It was absolutely amazing. 5 stars. I thought it was brilliant, and I suppose that's the downfall of loving rereading so much as a child. I never picked this up as a kid, and I think I would have absolutely loved it, because it's about a little girl that loves reading and learning, and that was me. I wasn't magic, but that was me, and I really, really enjoyed it, and yeah, it was just amazing. So there we go. That's all the books that I read in the month of June. Bravo to you if you got to the end of this video. I'm gonna go and have a lie down now, because that's an awful lot of books. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Chat to me all things bookish or hairish in the comment section down below, and I shall see you soon for the next video. Bye for now.